Good Monday morning, everybody. Hope everybody's doing wonderful today. You got a real busy week scheduled up coming up. So, hey, what I want to speak on today is this past few days, we've had a gentleman that has purchased one of our business packages out of Huntington Beach in town, getting him trained up. Still got some more work to do. What I want to say is we did this. This is our first package we sold. We have another gentleman out of Denver coming in tomorrow that also bought a package as well. We got a gentleman in Virginia and Milwaukee that are very interested. Hopefully we'll go ahead and get one purchased here soon. So we did this first one knowing we set it up best that we could, and we set it up to where we thought an itinerary, we set up an itinerary and we thought this would work great. And, but we knew we'd learn a tremendous amount. The itinerary worked pretty well, but what we realized is when we did this is that we actually need to set it up where they're mostly trained as far as on using invoicing software, QuickBooks, we use Vonnegut, answering phones, having good truck knowledge already, how we quote jobs. Basically, we're going to put a training regimen together that they have before they actually visit us, and then when the package customers come in, we get them a lot of time on the truck, and get them a bunch of time on the truck where they're learning on quoting jobs. They're learning how to move stuff throughout homes. They're learning, we've got time to show them some maintenance. Some additional maintenance information on the Isuzu dump trucks, because there's some specific stuff on Isuzus people need to know. So where I'm going is a lot of y'all are afraid to get out there and try something until you think it's perfected. And what you need to do is you need to get it good. You need to get as good as pretty good at the start as you can, but you're going to learn so much once you actually get out there and do it. I remember when I used to race cars, I was always concerned. I'd read books about the best line to take into a corner. This is before, you didn't have simulators back then, so you couldn't get any information off simulators. Hell, now with simulators, you can get out there and you can learn how to drive before you've even gotten in the car. But back then, I was young. I was 16, 17 when I was reading these books. I was reading these books on entry points into the corner, and when to pick up the gas, and when to get on the brake, and should you use left foot braking or should you use right foot braking, and how hard to jab the gas. On a race car, some people think you might just jab the gas, and on very, very few tracks you might, but normally, especially on short tracks, you ease it in. You consider like you have an egg in between your foot and the throttle pedal, and you ease in that throttle. Otherwise, you're going to break traction in the back, or if you're tight, the front end's going to try and skid up the corner. So somebody finally told me, he said, "Man, you're researching the hell out of this thing. You just got to get in a car and go do it." I got to think it. It's like, yeah, exactly right. So I got a car, I got out there, and I learned. It was nice knowing that knowledge beforehand, but you're only going to get so good. You research it some, you take your best jab at it, your best shot at it, then you get out there and do it. And that's something we've always been willing to do with demolition. We learned what we could do. We watched YouTube videos, and then we got out there and did it. And we didn't have any prior training, prior knowledge, or anything like that at that point. Now, you should get training if you can. We didn't have an avenue to get training, but you should get training, and then you should get trained, get as good as you can. But then but don't get so focused on you need additional training, you need additional help, that you never actually get out there and do it. So those of you on junk removal businesses, you've been researching. Some of y'all been researching 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Some of y'all been thinking about going out and starting your own business for 5 or 10 years. You've got analysis paralysis here. You're not moving. You're afraid to move. Guys, you got to grow a pair. You got to get some balls, man. You got to get some big old balls, and you got to get out there and you got to take a shot. You got to go for it. Get training, learn from those that have done it already in whatever industry, whatever business you go on. Read books. All of y'all, every single one of you ought to be out there reading at least a book or two a month. The average American reads like 1 or 2 books a year. And a lot of y'all aren't reading any books at all. And then the average CEO of a Fortune 500 company is reading over 50 books a year. And y'all want to know what's the difference between you and that CEO that's making $10, $20 million a year. That CEO's out there reading, and they ain't reading no damn romance novels like half of y'all are. Maybe not watching this YouTube channel, but I think half the books in America read are probably romance novels. They ain't reading that shit. They're out there. They're reading self-improvement stuff. They're reading about the economy. They're reading about marketing moves, about finance, about how to leverage. They're reading about stuff relevant to their particular industry, and they are becoming just extremely knowledgeable, an expert. They're becoming an expert in whatever they do, but they're always learning. Even when they are an expert, they're always learning. They're always studying. So you always have to have that, but you also have to just get out there and do it, because you're going to learn. You're going to learn more by getting out there and doing it than reading. Now, you need that knowledge, that reading knowledge, because there's a lot of times if you haven't gotten that knowledge, if you haven't read, you won't recognize situations when you get out there and are actually doing it where that applies. The reading is going to get you to the next level. It's going to get you that extra 10 or 20%. But getting out there and doing it's going to get you about 80%. Learn, get out there, get started, grow some balls, take a chance and get going, and don't worry about the money. If you've got the knowledge, you feel like it's a good industry, spend every damn dime you got to get into it. You know what I mean? Some of y'all are so damn afraid of losing your money. It's ridiculous. Money ain't meant to be hoarded. A lot of y'all, you're getting kind of selfish. You're hoarding that money. Money is meant to be spent. It's meant to be invested. It's meant to grow. It's meant to hire people. When you get out there, you're being selfish. You hoard your money. If you're running a single truck operation, you're being selfish. You're sitting there. You're afraid to spend money. One, you're building something that it's not sustainable. You're going to have physical problems at one point or another. You're going to. There's no question about it. If you're 25 years old, there is at some point in your life, probably sooner rather than later, as hard as you have to do this job, where you're going to have physical issues. You're not going to be able to have an income. You're putting your family in jeopardy because you don't have a backup plan, because you've been selfish to not invest in more trucks, to not invest in marketing to get you more business, to not invest in getting off the truck and getting a business that runs without you, that's going to give you an income so you can support your family even when you're hurt. You're putting your family in jeopardy. You're being selfish. And then when you hoard the money, you're keeping it out of the economy. You got potential people that could be working for you. You ought to be getting them money and growing your business. So money to me is something to be spent. It's something to be invested, not hoarded. And what the hell's the point of money if you're not going to spend it? People talk about, what was that book written years ago, The Millionaire Next Door, and everything about saving. What the hell's, why have $1 million if you can't actually spend it, if you're not actually going to do good, if you can't get out there? Those of you that sit there and enough is enough, that's bullshit. You got a lot of good you could be doing. You got a lot of people you could be hiring. And then once you start making a lot more money, who's able to donate more to charity, a rich person or a poor person? That's not always saying that rich people donate more to charity than a poor person or a middle class person, but a rich person can do a hell of a lot more good by accumulating as much money as possible. And the only way that's going to happen is by investing. And then they take that money and then they can donate it to charity, donate it to projects. They can build their business more, which hires more people. That's the entire deal there. But it all starts with getting started and not being scared. And those of you, some of y'all get older. People get older. And I understand this. I wouldn't want to lose what I have now, what I've built now. If I did, though, I know I could just build it back. It would, like I said, it'd knock me on my ass for a couple weeks, and then I'd build it back. But those of y'all that you get into your 30s and then your 40s, and you get afraid, it's like you don't want to grow anymore, and you get constrained, and that's just, it's a mistake. At 40 years old, most of y'all at 40, if you're 40 years old, most of y'all have not even lived half your life. And you get content. And I understand this even at 28. I've had a lot of setbacks, but I just keep going. I mean, I just keep punching and punching and punching. I mean, if I have another 10 years of setbacks, I'm gonna keep going. You know, I'm gonna ram that wall till the bitch comes down. You know what I mean? So, y'all, a lot of y'all settle. A lot of y'all get with a spouse that makes you settle. That's always, you know, why aren't you spending time with me? You know, you care more about your business than you do, you know, you do me and shit like and shit like that. And you need to find a good balance. I mean, you know, you always need to find a balance throughout your life, but don't let a spouse, a parent, a friend, you know, don't let that individual drag you down and make you crush your dreams, because chances are you had those dreams before you, well, maybe not your parent, but chances are you had those dreams before you ever met your spouse. So you've had the dreams longer than you've had the spouse. You know, so when the spouse gets with you, they need to understand they're getting with your dreams also. They don't have the right to crush your dreams. So I know a lot of y'all have been just forced to settle. Screw settling. What the fuck is the fun with settling? You know what I mean? You know, go after it. Have a good time. Take a chance. Get out there and do it. And your life is just going to be so much more fulfilling. Yeah, you're going to have a shit ton of setbacks. Yeah, I mean, it's going to happen. But yeah, I tell you what, you get to the point where it just doesn't bother you. You know, it's like, shit, throw more at me, you know? Give me all you got. You know, I can take it. You know, it don't bother me. The first 20 setbacks are probably the toughest. And then after that, it's like, the hell, life goes on, you know, life continues on. We can still have a hell of a lot of fun. I mean, if I was broke, I'd have fun. Now, with more money, I have a hell of a lot more fun when I got money. When I get out there and have an airplane, I can rent a boat. I don't buy a boat. I don't have enough time right now. I'd love to have a boat, but shit, I want a big damn boat when I get one. But, you know, I get out there, I can rent a boat. You know, I can do what I want. If I want to go skydiving, I don't do that anymore. I did it once, you know. But, you know, I got the money to go out there and have a blast. But if I lost everything I have, I'd still have a way to have fun. I love life. And those of y'all that just, some people just, they don't take chances. You know, you only get one of these lives. One of the greatest things that's ever happened to me in my life is the fact that my dad, and my dad has been, throughout my life, has been my best friend. You know, I've had times, you know, we've been at each other, but he's always, you know, he's been my best friend throughout my entire life. And he did something also to expose me to aviation from an early age. I got exposed to people with wealth. I got exposed to older people, and it made me realize everything older people always talk about is how short life is, and it is. It is extremely short. You live it one time. Hell, maybe, I don't know, maybe we come back. Hell, I don't know. But, you know, as far as we know, you live it one time, you make the most of it, have a hell of a lot of fun, build something big, and take chances and do as much good as you can and create a legacy. You know, those of y'all in a single truck operation, those of y'all that are solopreneurs or whatever, you're not building a legacy. Shit, 50 years from now, ain't nobody gonna know who the hell you were. So, you know, build you something great, build you something sustainable, build you something that you can sell, build you something you can pass down to your family, build you a legacy. It starts with starting, though. If you don't ever get started, you're never going to build. So, you know, if you don't lay a foundation to a house, that's the very first thing you get started. You lay the foundation. If the foundation doesn't get laid, the house doesn't get built. Or if it does get built without a foundation, it falls down at the first sign of trouble. So get out there, get started, grow a pair, take a chance, build you a hell of a life, build you a legacy, build you something that you can pass down to your kids and be remembered for. That's what I'm going after. Are you?